Good morning, DDCM fans. So here we are. We got another video to share with y'all. This time we received the motherboard from GIGABYTE. And I know I don't open the box until I do the video, but we did actually have some damage to the box. As you can see here, we got a pretty extensive, hole in it. And there was some, damage to the box here, so I had to open it up to make sure nothing inside the package was damaged, so I could make sure to let the rep know if need be. But let's go ahead and dive right into this. Don't have a lot of time this morning, so this will probably be a rather short video, as I hope to record a couple other videos, including a sleeving video this morning. I had a lot of response to my reference to the staple method for sleeving, so that's probably what we're going to do. So let's dive right into the box right here. So if you've been reading any of the online forum logs, build logs, you'll know which motherboard this is. But GIGABYTE, after I completed the Blue Fury mod for the GIGABYTE challenge, excuse me, still early, they saw the Blue Fury mod. They saw that I actually did have some semblance of some skill, that I could actually deliver a product and hit a deadline, which they were more than glad to sponsor the motherboard for this. So here we have the GIGABYTE X170 Extreme ECC board, and if you couldn't tell from the social media posts and stuff like that, I mean, there was a good reason for doing this, one of them being the actual color scheme for the motherboard. But I want to pull this out real quick. And this video is going to be a little bit different, as I'm not just going to pull it out of the box and share my thanks with y'all, but I'm planning on actually putting it inside the case and showing it inside the case, because I have still some cable management holes to finish up and finalize, and so that's the plan. So a little bit later in the video, you'll actually be able to see it in the case and in Project Military Tech as it stands right now, as we're finalizing some of the last details before we can call it good and actually start installing all these components for real. The color is great. Actually, the pictures online actually have it at like a brighter tan color, but this is more, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's a little bit darker than the pictures they have online, which works out perfectly. And the paint that I got should actually match up quite well for doing the accent pieces. Yep. On like the motherboard, the mouse, the keyboard, possibly, and then the headset. We're going to cover up those red lines on that Thermaltake Kronos headset, and so that it's not such a glaring color, and we'll stick to the black, green, and tan theme of the build. I also plan on doing a little bit of hand painting on the case itself, but I haven't quite decided on how I want to do that. If I want to do just a small trim in some areas, or even just leave the case on the outside just green and black. So that, I think that'll all decide once I start getting components in and seeing how everything looks, to see if I really need that tan on the outside or not. So this is the motherboard. One of the pieces we're still missing for the build is the processor that'll go in here, but I think it's going to look really nice with the Thermaltake Water 3.0 that Thermaltake sent us, and I think that's going to be great for the actual cooling of this board. But like I said, it's early. This is going to be a short video, and this is gorgeous. I do like one of the things they started doing on the motherboards in just the past few years and stuff, and that's adding the reinforcement to the PCIe brackets, the armor as MSI calls it. That's really handy because some of the bigger graphics cards are nice and heavy. Have been put would put stress on here, and then some of the soldered connections would come loose. So the fact that they do that, I think, is a really good thing. It just adds support to the bracket itself. One of the things I mentioned, I got to do some of the cable management holes in the motherboard so far. One of the things I've been holding off for was the actual location of the 24 pin, because I want to be able to come out right next to it, parallel with the cable, and run it. And so I wasn't going to just sit there and estimate exactly how far from the top of the motherboard or from the bottom of the motherboard this connector was actually going to be, and I wasn't going to guesstimate and then have the hole slightly off. So that's our plan. I'm going to go ahead and put this in the case, and once I do that, I'll be right back. And we have the GIGABYTE motherboard installed. Now, if you can see here, I think it looks pretty awesome. This is gonna look well. I wasn't too sure about so much tan on the motherboard and fitting with the theme of the build, but as this is a military themed build, that tan camo really screams military. So that's pretty awesome. If you can see here at the top, I went ahead and mock installed the EVGA Supernova 1000 watt PSU, just to see my clearances between the actual motherboard and the power supply here itself, and we're good. We got a good inch in between, so that'll be handy. I also did throw in one of my graphics cards on social media. You can see a picture of that, just to see how the lengths fit and stuff like that of a longer graphics card. And that was it was a GeForce 670 GTX, and it'll actually be the graphics card that goes in here unless I can get enough money or another sponsor to get us a better graphics card. So that was just a handy test mock-up. But now that I have the motherboard installed, I can go ahead and from here mark out exactly where I want these connectors to go and where I need to cut that cable management hole, also for the SATA down here, so I can cut them and they can be properly routed and look really nice. Speaking of the SATA cable, GIGABYTE was great to include the normal ones, the normal SATA cables, straight connectors, but they also included a right angle adapter, which is going to come in really handy on the back side where the SSD is going to be in the window. That this is going to allow me to plug it into the SSD and have the cable run straight through the motherboard tray, and you don't have cables running out this way from the SSD and really affecting some of the design. One of my favorite pieces for this motherboard and what's included is this right here, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it to focus, but this is what GIGABYTE is calling their G connector. If you've ever installed a motherboard and had to plug all the front I/O pieces in, it can be a pain. Some came out with a full block like this, and then they had the pin sticking up and you just plugged it into there and you just plugged the whole block in, which made it a lot easier. But as you can see what they did here, they actually made, instead of a block, they made a holder. So you slide the connectors in here, and these little tabs right here lock in those connectors. And that way, because on the block sometimes you go to plug it in and stuff and they could still easily pull off of here, this locks them in and it's just one straight secure plug-in, and you don't have to worry about them wiggling or, you know, coming off or anything like that. And that is freaking amazing. All the times that I've been building computers, this is probably one of the biggest pieces of innovation that I found most useful, solving one of the builder's headaches. So that's one of my favorite pieces. But as you can see, we got the motherboard installed. Everything looks good. We got everything lining up the way it should be. Next is to cut out the cable management holes, and once I have that, then I can go back through, you know, clean up the stuff that I've dirtied up, and we can continue to move forward, and I can actually start installing these pieces permanently, exactly how they're going to be, while I work on raising some donations to get the processor, which is probably one of the biggest hindrances to a completed build right now, because I have a spare SSD that I can throw in, I have a spare hard drive I can throw in, I got the GTX 670 that I can put in here, but I don't have a CPU. So that's my priority number one when raising money. I do have a little raffle giveaway that I'm going to do for donations with one of my wife's events. We're going to raffle off one of her baby things. It's actually a carrier. So hopefully I'll earn a little bit of money for that to go towards the CPU. Other than that, we got to finish the front panel. I do not know. I'm going to grab the front panel so you guys can take a closer look. So there's the front panel there. We got the intake cut out. We still need to clean up some of the cuts as they're a little rough, and we need to straighten out a couple. But overall, it came out looking pretty well. I think I'm going to have to wait for Art Mods to send their vinyl representation of the Soldiers Memorial with the Remember banner. And luck would have it, when I was measuring this out and when I first started to mark out the initial box, Art Mods had sent me the dimensions of his vinyl sticker, and it was 7 inches tall. And from the top of the panel to the the top of the intake is exactly 7 inches. So it's going to be a perfect fit in between the two here. But I think I'm going to have to wait for that to arrive, and I can kind of play with the placement of it here in the center to know exactly where I need to drill the holes and cut the holes for the 2 temperature gauges and the power button and the LEDs that'll be in the front. So that's one of my next steps, but I'll have to wait for Art Mods to send his vinyl to finish that piece with the power button. Other than that, that's it for this video. I'm probably not going to get to the other videos today, as everybody else in the house is slowly waking up, and I gotta start taking care of some real life stuff, and some errands and doctor's appointments and whatever else the case may be. So thanks for tuning in. If you like the video, if you like the support that Gigabyte sent this awesome looking motherboard, send them a tweet, a message, whatever, and tell them that you really appreciate them sponsoring this and showing their support. Hopefully I'll still get the sleeving video recorded, and I'm thinking about doing a why Project Military Tech video as well, and that's basically where I sit down and give the reasons behind why I feel so strongly in actually doing the build in the first place. So tune in. Hopefully there'll be some more videos soon. Hopefully I'll get those recorded this weekend, since I am taking a couple days off from work. But if you have any questions, want to leave a comment, please, leave a like, leave a comment. I'd love to hear what you, think about the build, what I'm trying to do here. So yeah, have a great day, everyone, and I look forward to hearing from you all. Alright, have a good one, and you've been watching DDCM Videos Network. Alright, have a good one. Bye.